Yeah, dude, how's prep going?
Good. Horrible.
You got a buzz cut? I want to know what the decision behind that was.
The buzz cut is just to let heat out of my head because I'm sweating and I'm so hot. I'm sweating through my sheets at night.
That's so real.
Yeah, my wife is like, hey, you got to get this figured out. So first was the beard. And I was like, oh, this feels a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buzz it. It's 4 weeks out. Buzzed it, immediately could feel the coolness from like the air.
I thought you were doing us a C-bump for a second.
No,
I was like,
dude,
is he going to shave the
it's
mustache at the end, you know? I was like, hell yeah.
It's really just to, like, for body heat. I don't want to break out like before a show. Like, that's the worst. And it happened last time. I was doing great, and then right before the show, you got to tan twice a week. I'm doing Stairmaster for an hour, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Or no, 7 days a week. And I was working and then going and training and then going right back to work and not showering. So I just started to break out on my chest, and you can't hide it on stage.
Oh, like, I love that, like, in a town where like everybody's like having a different haircut for so many different vanity related reasons. You're like fucking body
functional, bro.
Fucking body.
Come on. It's weird to wake up. I mean, it wouldn't bother me if I was by myself. Like, I sleep in the bed, the sheets or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll throw them in. But like, my wife is always like, it's gross.
So no. You're prepping, I'm not. Yeah. I
don't want to wake up in your sweat. Like,
yeah.
That's fair. So.
Are we rolling, Ryan?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So.
Please point that mic towards you a little bit more.
There you go. That's the reality right there.
Perfect. All right, guys. Welcome to the Warrior Poet Society podcast. Josh and Kesh.
What's up?
What's up, bro?
Dude, what are we talking about today? I think we discussed, I don't know if I can sum it up in one sentence, but the idea for this podcast started after the last therapy session you had. Maybe I'll let you explain.
Yeah. Last therapy session, we had discussed self-destructive behavior and the exact, one, like, I'm aware that I'm a little self-destructive.
Right.
I just didn't realize that certain things that I was doing were self-destructive, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
You think you're being practical sometimes.
Yeah.
And the example, I was in a business meeting with partners, and I made the comment, hey, this is the last year that I'm going to try to do this business. It's been 14 years that I've been figuring it out, vetting it, in between doing other projects, but this Conquer All Things company, 14 years.
It's a long time.
Make it work. Yeah, a lot of time.
Definitely done your 10,000 hours.
Yeah, dude. And so we're at the best place to possibly be to make this work and make a real shot at it. And so, but I made the comment to my partners, at the end of this year, like, if this isn't kind of going in the direction where it needs to go, I need to do something else.
Right.
I don't know if I need to get a job or start another company or use my degree for something.
So what's prompting that? If like you said, you feel like you're in the best spot possible.
What's prompting that is self-destructive behavior, apparently, because my therapist was like,
that was alley-oop. Thank you for catching
that.
that.
He was like, hey, man, like, that's super self-destructive. And I was like, no, that's being practical. I'm going to be like 39 next year, like really close to 40. I have
You're
kids.
like, and you're too opinionated.
Yeah, dude. And then I thought about it and I was like, man, you know what? Geez, you're right. Why would I think about that when it's all going so well in the right direction?
It's almost like that little devil on your shoulder kind of scenario. Yeah.
And it's just that voice that you hear that tells you like, oh no, this is it. Like you've done enough. And it's kind of one of those situations where it's never really enough if you want it to happen either. Right. Like that's the reality. Like I need to push it until it works.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Yeah.
So, and something you had said when we were talking about this a little bit was that guiding light, or that it being that person on the path. Like, do you think it's this person on the path that's telling you to go the other way for a reason?
Right.
And we talked about that. It like really stuck in my head, man, for a couple of days, to where I think I talked to my wife about it a little. I was like, I feel like I'm going in the right direction for sure, because I am feeling that self-destructive little voice.
Right.
And I think that's telling me that we're on the right path.
Well, yeah, it's that whole, like, people talk about this all the time, fear of success, right? I feel like, I don't know if that's the case for you, but for myself, I definitely struggle with that. It's that fear of success is related to, a lot of the time feeling like you're not good enough. That's like one of those subconscious beliefs you might have about yourself, because for whatever reason, when you were a kid, this or that happened. And as a result, in your adult life, when you reach something that is close to greatness that could fully debunk that feeling that you're not good enough, then, you know, you've got that little, whether it's your inner child or like shadow self, you know, as Mr. Young would call it in therapy. It's sort of like if you were to do that, then everything that you believe about yourself would just shatter in that case. So it's almost like this weird compass that we have that keeps us feeling safe into the what we know, even though that might not be the most helpful thing.
I think you're right. And, you know, another layer to this that I think is interesting and worth sharing, and that fear of success is also that fear of being, sorry, I have a stuffy nose. I should have mentioned it. It's like allergies, dude. I don't know. This weather in California, it's like 87 degrees and then 70 and then 65. It's a bit weird out.
Keep it real.
So
real.
It's getting me. But what I think is tied to this and that success is being seen, right? And I think that self-destructive behavior also plays on those insecurities. And for me, another conversation that my therapist and I had that day was, you know, is this brand that I'm trying to create better off without me in it because of my disability? Right. You know, it's this conquering mindset lifestyle brand. Yeah. And I had posed a question, and it's a thing I've been feeling for a long time. Would this be better accepted by people if it was someone different? You know,
and how interesting, right? That like that's exactly what your disability is. You're struggling with literally seeing, and that is, you know, the like fear behind it. It's so wild, right?
Yeah, it's a weird parallel for sure. And you know what he said that you kind of need to hear bluntly sometimes. He was like, "Hey, I got really bad news for you," and it was, you know, like you're the only one that can try to make this work because it's your brand, like it's 100%. It's your life and your baby. And you can't pass it off to someone. He's like, you could structure this business because you went to school for that. You've done this before. But if it's not you associated to it, it's not going to work.
Totally. I think that's, you know, you alluded to that a couple of minutes ago. It feels weird because somehow to make something that matters and that is meaningful, you have to dig deep into places inside of you that feel very muddy and very like broken at times. Yeah. And, you know, not to be too woo-woo and cheesy about it, but there's that one quote, right? Like, you know, beautiful things have cracks in them because that's how the light gets through, right? Yeah. And I feel like in that particular case, that's exactly what's happening with you. It's this sort of like part of you that's like, well, this is the thing I gatekeep. It's for myself, right? It's not a part that I want to showcase. And yet that's also exactly what the magic is. Like it's beautiful, but you have to almost make that weird leap of like, just believe, hey, I'll be safe. Like, let me just go ahead and see what happens kind of thing. Like, yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And, you know, I think we feel that in so many different areas, right? Just as men in general, we hyper focus on the project or the career or the path. Like we want to provide and all of those things that we're kind of raised to think are our role. Yeah. You know, and I think that pressure, you know, it can become a little daunting sometimes. Right.
Well, I just think that pressure is not really conducive to acceptance, which is the problem, right? Because, you know, if you're, let's say, and this is not like your scenario in particular, but if you're at the beginning of your journey and you have put either on yourself or your parents or family or society has put on yourself the pressure of like living up to something, well, there are still so many steps in between that you need to kind of take on your own in order to get to that point. And to just bash yourself and be so hard on yourself that this is already where you're at, it basically just conditions you to be a product that's sort of like empty, because that's not at all you know, you haven't been able to reconcile all those pieces of yourself that you need in order to get to that place. I mean, it's just
all those pieces add up to what you need to get to where you need to go.
Yeah. So I guess a good place to go maybe with this is, so following that therapy session that you had in the conversation with your therapist, what was sort of like the resolution in the end, now that he sort of like pinpointed, hey, like I think this is what's going on, and now that you have that awareness of it?
Yeah, you know, I think the resolution was to take it as a sign, you know, take it as a sign that like when those behaviors come up, they're triggered by something. And it could be good or bad. Right. And triggers don't always have to be negative. They can be triggered by positive things too that
Totally.
then you try to destroy or
Right,
dismantle. And so, in this situation, I'm definitely taking it, saying that statement in this time and with all the work we've been doing, this is the last year that I want to do this. I'm taking as, like a signal that we're on the right path to where we need to go.
Totally.
And I think it's interesting to even realize that's a self-destructive behavior too. I think that was the other thing that stood out was I didn't realize that was self-destructive. So
Right. You just think it's being useful and trying to tell you something.
Yep, totally. So, also looking at, other areas, man, am I being self-destructive in other areas?
Yeah.
To a point,
And I think you also you made a good point not to, always be that guy bringing it back to the meditation and stuff, but the ability, and that's something that I think therapy is really useful for, the ability to sort of step back and just from a third person perspective, look at a feeling and not judge it and not necessarily associate yourself with it is so incredibly useful. Because I think as humans, we've done this thing where we've categorized feelings into bad, good. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of if you're feeling happy or in love, it's good. If you're feeling hungry, angry, jealous, it's bad. And it's it's so much more complex than that. It's a rainbow. Everything, you could be angry, but that could be a positive if you're in the middle of working out. Those things are rarely just one shade of something. And so I think the ability to just sit back and just be okay, how am I feeling right now? In your case, you were it was probably either scary or either just worried. And you could just go, okay, I'm feeling worried, almost like a cloud passing. And then you don't have to listen to it. Just keep carrying on with the plan because like you said, the plan is fucking solid. It's bulletproof right now. It seems like you're going exactly where you need to go. So the ability to remove yourself from the feeling and just focus on the task is sometimes what's going to get you to where you need to be more than anything.
Yeah, totally. Do you deal with any of that kind of stuff in your own life, like that self-destructive thing? It's not something everyone deals with, I don't think.
To be honest with you, I'm perfect. So
yeah, I mean.
No, I do 100%. I'm very much, I can be in my head a lot, which is why, just trying to be more mindful throughout the day has been really helpful. I think a lot of my self-talk revolves around not feeling good enough or kind of similar to you too, being seen. It's this thing I want, but then when it happens I'm what I have to offer, is that good enough to be seen, and then you feel judged. And all those things I learned through my own therapy, I think, are really what's called subconscious beliefs that you're not even aware of a lot of the time. And I think that I'm sure we'll do another full episode on that, but for me to sort of at one point in my life fully have sat down and write what my fears are has been really helpful, because now I'm able to kind of, when a situation arises, go, okay, this probably goes into that category that I've explored. Okay, this probably goes into that category. And it sort of helps me. That's why I love journaling. I'm such a huge advocate for journaling, because it's amazing to have the mental capacity to deal with your thoughts and be smart about them. But there's that sort of metaphor that when you write things down, it's almost like if your thoughts are a ball of spaghetti, then when you write them down, it's like laying out the pasta one by one, and all of a sudden you can see things a little more clearly. So that was a long way to answer your question, but definitely, and it's 100% an ongoing process, because those fears, whether not being good enough or being seen, all that stuff, they literally will show themselves in every endeavor at some point.
Yeah.
So to be able to sort of detach yourself from them is where it's at. And I know that you and I both are big fans of some of the things sometimes that Alex Hormozi say, and there was that one line about confidence, that it was basically the best way to get confident is to just have a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Let's end there. That's good.
I love it.
Let's end there. All right, guys. We're a Poet. What's the handle? We got a handle now.
We got a handle. We got a channel, the Warrior Poet Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube. And we'd love if you guys could let us know how you feel about the particular topics that we discuss in the comments, because the more we hear about people, the more we can get topics to expand on. So.
Yeah, share any self-destructive behaviors you might have or ways that you deal with them. That's great for us too. We love interacting. We'll reply to your comments. And thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.